Okay, hi guys. Welcome once more to my channel. I'm super excited to have you. Today we're going to be doing something very fascinating, right? And very cool. We're going to be working on creating an IVR bot. I'm super excited about this because it's cool. And integrating it with the Microsoft Contact Center, which is one of the cool solutions from Microsoft on the Dynamics platform. So I'm going to be walking us through the end to end, right? You're going to be seeing how I'm going to be creating the IVR bots from scratch on Microsoft's Copilot, and also I'll be integrating that bot to a work stream so that when phone uh, calls are made, right, the your customers interact first with the IVR bot, right? Make some selections, and based on their selections, the dynamic system will then route that call right to the appropriate agent. So let's hit that right in. Also, before we hit in, if you've not subscribed, I'll encourage you to subscribe so that when we release more of this kind of videos, right, you get notified quickly. So right on my screen, we could see the IVR script that we're going to be implementing. So when a caller makes a call to the phone lines, right, the bot should greet the person, and that's with a welcome to Amaguchi Global, and which is your number one IT solution partner, right? Then straight up, the person should go to the bots will then call out the main menu. If it's for English, the person should press one. For French, then depending on what you have, right, as your main menu, and from the main menu, we're only going to be using English. For the other one, we'll just keep it silent. Then for the other selections, which is the appropriate business unit. So if the person is selecting for Amaguchi Dynamics CRM implementation, person will need to press one. If it's for CRM support, so just like what we have here, we're going to be implementing all of this, and I'm also going to show you how this the whatever the person selects is now passed over to your dynamic CRM, and your unified routing makes some logic selection based on this and route it to the appropriate department. So let's hit right into our environment and get this working. So I'll be spinning up my environment straight away. So let me just turn this on. Okay, so the we'll be logging in to environment. So let me just go to aka the ms /ppac. So I want to pick the environment we'll be working on. So let's have this load, and we can pick the environment that we are working on. Okay, so our environment is opening up. While this is opening up, then where we'll be creating the IVR, it's on the Microsoft Copilot. Beautiful and fantastic. And the Copilot is one of the features that is very robust, right, in Microsoft's ecosystem. So I'll just go here and go to web.powerva.microsoft.com, web.powerva.microsoft.com, right? So this is where we're going to be configuring our Copilot from, right? So this is loading while this is our contact center that we are going to be linking our IVR to. So the workstream we're going to be using for that is the voice workstream that is already pre-configured here, which is this demo live workstream, right? Or we could create the workstream from scratch, and I'll also show you how that is done. So let's head down to our PVA. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a voice agent, right? So it's an agent with, so we're just going to be using these templates and clean up some few stuffs there about. So let me just click on this, right? So on clicking on this, it's now going to provision us with the voice bots we are going to be using to station or IVR. So I'll just call this Amaguch IVR, right? Amaguch IVR, right? So that's everything is cool here. And at the top right, where I'm hovering the mouse, I'll just hit on create. So it's going to provision the um, IVR voice bot for us. Then we'll proceed to start our configuration. So let's give it some time to set up. So our IVR bot is now set up. So quickly at the top right, let's just track between topics so that it will be easier for us to be able to check what topic is triggering what. So I'm just trying to turn this on, right? So I'll just turn this on here. So we're tracking now between topics. Just some minutes. Yeah, so our track between topics are on. And when we click on any of these, it takes us to where, let me reload this. It takes us to where that prompt is coming out from. So all these things are appearing here are things that will be read out, right? During the when the phone is dialed and the IVR bot kicks in. So now let's move to our topics. Let's see what we already have. Stations, we had the greetings, we have the lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3 topics. We don't really need this, so we could as well just delete all of this. So let me just delete this. We don't actually need them. So they were just sample lessons that were created when the bot was being created, right? So let me click to delete this. Also, I'm gonna delete this one. I'm gonna delete this, right? So let's change our start conversation. So this is actually what holds the start conversation. So we're going to change it to what we have on our prompts, right? It says, welcome to Amaguch Global, your #1 IT solution partner, right? So I'm just going to go back here and I'll go to systems. And if I go to start conversation, I'm going to edit the message that comes out here, right? So I'll just click on this. So let's go back and copy this, right? I just want to copy this same way it is. Just this one. So let me just, sorry. So I'm copying this. So we'll go back to our bots, right? And when I click on this message, now I can just pick all this and press enter. So this is just what it's going to say out to the customer, right? And it's now going to direct us to the main menu. So let's just click on enter here and I can save, right? So that will be tracked. So up next, we're now going to edit the main menu. So I could just click on here to view topic. So it's going to take us to the main menu. And this is what we have for our main menu. But we're going to change some things in the main menu here so as to suit what we currently have here. So this is going to be our main menu format. So now let's proceed to our bots and make the edits accordingly. So go back to our bots. So as I said, we don't need this. We just click on this and delete this, right? We're also going to be deleting this. Okay, we might need this, right? For let me to press the pound key to for the IVR to repeat it again. So what we're just going to do is we're going to ask a question, and for these questions we are going to be assigning DTMF keys to the option. So this is basically what will be picking up the option the person is selecting, right? So I'm going to click on this. And what's our question? Our question is actually, let's go here, and we are asking to be serviced in, right? So I'll just go back here, click on this, and just click on this one, right? Copy this. So I'll just go back to our IVR. I'll go back here and click on this. Just paste this here. So to be serviced in now, the options we're not going to be entering are this. So the first one is English. So I'm just going to copy English, then come back here and paste English as our new option. So when I paste English, I'm now going to select the key entry for English. So English is 1, and I could have the next option, which is now for French. Let's see. Let's say I come here. So I could put French. So you could add other options as the case may be, right? I'll just use this. Though I'm not even using the second option, which is French. I'm just putting it out there for us to see how the workflows will come out for us. So as you can see now, it automatically creates some branches, right, for us to now see what it is. And also we have our variables that have been selected here that we are going to be using to hold the returns of the value that is coming out from what the customer has entered. So let me just call this a global variable. So we're going to be editing it. So it's a global variable. We want to make it a global variable because we want to be able to pass it across from one topic to another. So that's basically why we need to convert it to a global variable. So what I'll do is just double click on this var1 here. When you double click on it, if you double click on it, it's gonna pop up. I don't know why this. Okay, yeah. So when it pop up this way, then we're now gonna rename it. I want to actually rename this. Oops, just gonna. Not this. Okay. So I'm going to call this a variable. I'll call it language choice, right? And I want to make it a global variable so that it's accessed across all end. Oh, the property was not selected. Let me close this, and check this again. Yeah, we want it to be a global variable. So I'm selecting it as a global variable. So do you want to allow it to be carried between topics? Yes. I want to also be able to take it to the source can set external values. I'll just click on both of them to be yes. Then I'll just save on this. All right, so while that is done, then we then scroll down to what we currently have. So what we want to do is we want when the customer picks to English, right? We want to redirect it to another topic, right? Also for French now, we're not setting up as French, so we could just put a message, maybe a default message, but you could now add your own other options. So I just wanted to show us how you could have different partitions based on the first level question you could ask. I could just say that support in, I'll just add a variable, and the variable I'm adding is this choice variable. I'll say this support in this is not available at the moment. So this is what the bot will say when somebody picks French, right? And then proceed to tell the person to press the pound key right down here to proceed again. But once the person selects English, we are going to be redirecting the person. So let's save this now and proceed to create the breakdown for English, right? That's the English choice that the person selected. So we're going to be creating another new variable. Then we'll come back to this main menu. Excuse me. We'll come back to this main menu to add that on under redirect. So let's just go back to topics, and now we'll go to add a new topic. So we'll start topic from blank. So we're going to call this topic English choice. English choice, right? That means the choice the person picked was English. Then we're not be needing to enter any phrase because we'll be calling this by ourselves, right? So you'll be putting in phrases when you want this actually topic to be triggered when customers say certain words. But this we are using the ETMF, so everything will be called based on the code that the based on the selection that the user makes. So I'll then proceed now to now ask the next level of questions that we have from our IVR scripts that we created. So let me just bring up our IVR script. So these are IVR scripts. So after selecting English, the next is we want to ask the person for any of these. The person should select the various number. So I will just drag this to my other screen and proceed to have that on. So I'll just drag this here. So what we'll do first of all is to add a question. So I'll just scroll down here. And then, so there are two ways to it. You could just copy all the questions here and paste it so that it's reading out directly, right? Then for each of this selection also, then you can pass them into your DTMF. So I'll just click on this. So with this DTMF now, a code could be assigned to every of the selections we are making. So I could copy just say for CRM this. I'm going to put a new selection. What do we select? We selected 1, right? So for this, the person should select 1. Then for the next one, which is for CRM support, the person should select 2. So we're going to be selecting 2. We're going to be picking 2 here, right? And for the next one, for dynamic CRM training, we're going to be selecting 3. All right. So we just pick on this and select 3. Right. The next option is for Amaguchi Academy support. The person should press 4. Right. So I'm going to click on this. So I'll put on a new option. Now I'm going to set this. So for this, we want 4, right? So when I click on 4, then the next is for Amaguchi real estate, based on what our transcript says, right? The person should select 5, right? So same here. We also want to capture this selection in a variable. So we're going to call this variable the business unit selection, right? That's based on so if you have a different language, so you could name it whatever you want, I'm just going to name this var English language. Let me just make lang choice, something like this, right? Something like this should work, right? So these are different business units that I'm trying to reach out to. Or I could just say, call it English language business unit, something like that. Let me just make it that way. English language business units, right? So these are the business units that I was selected. And also for this one, I'm going to make it a global variable, right? And I'm also going to give like a timer in which the users can wait be, before which the topic would pause during that period for them. That's if we want to get them to take some time before making their selection. I'm just going to put on this and select the both allow to carry between topics and also um, external selection. So when I do for the external selection, which covers both of them, I'm now going to just click on save, leave everything as it is. Then the next is I'll go back to main interface and ensure that we now tie English language to what we had previously. So let's just go back to topics. We'll come back to this English language. So let's go back to system. No, sorry. We're going back to custom. We're going back to main menu. So you know when the person selects English, we want to call up the English topic, right? So I'll go back here and I'll click on add, right? So at this point, we're going to be redirecting. So, oh, sorry, go to that topic, click on this, and the topic we want to go to is English choice, this one. So that's it, and we are done with the main menu configuration. So when you pick English, right, and it says that English you picked, it comes here and takes you directly to the English choice topic we just created. So I'll click on this save, then we go and build up on our English language topic, yeah, so that we could proceed with what we have on our script. So let me just pop up our script and go back to the English language. So I'll just click on topics, right, and go back to English language so we can see what we have. So for English language now we have quite a number of selections, which is just like 5, and each of the 5 will create a branch here, right? In the interest of time, I might not be creating all of them. I will just, but you can work on adding all of them. I'm going to drop the sample of this transcript, of this transcript prompt, which you could use on the link for the video, so that you could make reference to that and use it to maybe complete it and see how well you've gotten hold of it. So I'm just going to be implementing for just dynamic CRM implementation and CRM support. For CRM training down to Amaguchi real estate, I would just say that is not available at the moment. So let's just add a message, right, to tell the customers that this is currently not available at the moment. So let's just add a message for, okay, we're already doing, so let's just put this. So I could say supports, or let me just call the variable and say, so let's just add this. And I call this, we are looking at English language business units. So we are saying Amaguchi academic support is not available at the moment. So I'm just keeping all this so that we don't have to reduce the time that will be spent on this video. So let me just add another message here. So on this message here, I'll do the same thing. I'll call on the variable, which is English language business unit. So when I select this, right, I will now say is not available. Sorry, available at the moment, right? Great. So I could click on this, right? And that will be it. Okay. And I proceed to this. Okay, this also will not be available at the moment. So let's just say this also will not be available at the moment. But from your own end, you could complete the IVR script I've created. I'll show you. I'm going to be showing just for two, and same applies for others, right? So I'm just going to click on the variable here. So we're going to be selecting the variable. So the variable we're selecting is the English language. No, uh, let me see. Your business unit is not. Let me put a space after that. Is not available at the moment. Something like this, right? So I also save. Then so as to just keep track of what we've done. So that's saving. So now, as we did for English language, also we're going to be doing um, for dynamic CRM implementation and for dynamic CRM support. So let's go back to topics. We're going to be creating two topics, right? So add topics. So let's go, and the first one is we're going to be calling it dynamic CRM implementation. So let's say for dynamic CRM implementation is what we're going to be calling this, right? And we can hit on save. While we'll still come back to have that set so that we can just go and add it on the IVR for the English language selection that we did. Then I go back to topics. Then I click on add new topic. I click from blank. Then this one I want to just select for CRM support. So I'm going to click this, right? And I'm going to enter here. And I'm also going to click on save. So all this is to for us to be able to go back and now link these topics we created. Then we'll come back and finalize on the entry for those topics. So I'll go back to our topics, right? And then go to English language choice, right? The choice we made. Then redirects the topics now to those ones that we just created. Then we will then go back and make selection for them. So I'll just go on add, click on add, and I'll go to topic management, and I'll go to transfer to another topic. And the topic we're going to transfer this to is CRM, dynamic CRM implementation, and that will be done. Then the next is dynamic CRM support to transfer to that topic. So I'll just go here and go to topic management, transfer to topic, topic management, transfer to topic, and CRM support. Fantastic. So that's basically how we'll transfer. Let me just save this. So to now make this holistic, in case the person selecting, right, does not want to now select any of these that we said that the support is not available, to still give the person another option, maybe to go back to the previous menu or repeat the menu that just elapsed, right? So what we could do is we could now ask a question here, right? After this option, that's because this will only these three other ones and the last will come down to this. All the others we are redirecting, they won't get to this point. So we just ask a question and say, so I could just say to repeat the previous menu, press 8, right? And I could just say to go back to the main menu, press 9, something like this, right? So you can now go down and add this to our, no, this is not a message. Wanted to put this as a question. So I'm just going to copy this, right? And delete this. So what we want is a question, so that our response are now what to make the inputs to IVR. So I'll just click on ask question. So I'm going to put in our question here, then also select our assign the DTMF key option, then scroll down. The first one is, we'll call this repeat menu, right? And that one is, the key to that is 8. So if the person press 8, we know that the person wants to repeat menu. And if the person press 9, go back to main menu, right? So I could just click on 9, right? So what we want to do now is, for this one, for 9, for main menu, we are going back to, we'll redirect our stuff to the main menu, right? While for this one, we'll direct to the English choice. English choice, right? So it will call English choice. So that's basically the two is going to call. And after that, we'll, if it doesn't select any of those stuffs, then let's just want to end the conversation. So because we didn't hear any response from them, we might want to end the conversation at that point. So before ending, we might want to maybe just give the user a message that this call is going to be will end at this point due to no selection made. So I will just say thanks. Okay. So you could make, we didn't get any selection. And let me still use this. We didn't get any selection. The call will be hung up, but you can dial us again, something like this. Then I could just say thanks, right? So basically, we're now done with this part of the IVR, which is for the English selection, English voice. So now we don't save this and now proceed back to our two options we've selected, which is the dynamic CRM and the CRM support. So let's go back to topics. So let's go to, for dynamic CRM implementation. So just click on this. So let's get our IVR prompt back, the scripts we have. So we are done with this phase. So we just completed this two phase. Now we are now here. And as I said earlier on, I'll just be doing for this first two, while you could just try out the remaining one and fill out where I put in the not available at the moment. So let me just run through doing all of this. I'll drag this also to my second screen again. Then we'll proceed from there. So what we are on is the Dynamics CRM implementation. So for the Dynamics CRM implementation, we're still going to be asking a question, and as usual, we'll be turning on the assign UTMF. And for Dynamics CRM implementation, we have all these, right? So I'll just select all these, right, and paste it here. Then also, as usual, start entering them as choices. So the first one is for Dynamic CRM, for Dynamic Sales. So let's say the person wants to implement Dynamic Sales. So we want to capture that so that we could channel them to the and the team that are picking up this call can know exactly what they will be telling the customer. So let's say for Dynamics Marketing, so I'll just click on Dynamics Marketing and select this. Dynamics Marketing is 2, right? So I'm selecting 2. So let me just also scroll down, add more options, and we have for customer service, right? One of the lovely solutions from Microsoft. So I'm going to click on this and say for customer service, the person should press 3, as the case may be. Then the next is for chatbot, right? So the person just wants to implement only chatbot. We could request them to press 4, right? So I'll just put I'm going to put 4 for this, right? I'll just click on the key selection option and select 4. Then let's say the person wants to implement all applications. So let's say we give the person the option of pressing 5, right? So I used 0 on the script, but it's still fine. Let's just use this for all application, select 5, right? So just tip with us. Then the next is I'm now going to, as usual, name this our variable. Also transfer this globally. Want to transfer between external sources, right? And also want to allow to carry it between sessions. So we are still coming back to transfer this to text. When we get to linking it with a CRM, we'll still have to come back and change some of this text. But what we can call this is variable. I can call this dynamics, or let me just call this CRM implementation implement choice, right? Let's say the choice person select. I can leave this as this and just click on save. So based on this choice the person makes here, that's basically what we are going to be picking. So now, based on what we've done, at this point in time, right, the customer has made his selection. We now want to hand this over to a live agent, right? We want someone to be able to pick up this and then continue the conversation. And all this also is going to be helping us with our routing of the call to the right kind of agent. So I'll transfer this now to the escalation end of the Copilot. So this will be sending this to our CRM system. So that will be all for all of them. The same thing. I'm going to be transferring this, going to another topic, escalating it. So for any selection the person makes here, we're just escalating it to the CRM, the omni-channel end, the contact center. So I'll just go all the way here, right? Escalate this. Sorry, topic transfer, go to escalate. So the escalate is already a predefined topic within the system. We're also going to update that. So let's just click on this. Click on go to topics, then click on escalate. So based on any of these that I selected, it will escalate them. Also, in case this is not none of this is selected, right, we could still do the same thing. Ask to repeat the menu, or we could now redirect them to the main menu. So we could just ask a question and say to repeat this menu yeah, press, let's say it, right, and for to go back to main menu press 9. So same, we're going to put in our DTMF, right, and we're now going to put our options as we did previously. So I'm going to be selecting the option to repeat menu, and to repeat menu is 8 selection. The selection number 8 will repeat is for, that means the customer wants to repeat the menu. Oh, he's saying repair, apologies. So click on repeat, and I'll change this to menu. Then the next one is to go back to main menu, right? This one is 9. The selection is 9. So that's basically it for us on this one. And we go into our loop and just redirect. So we'll redirect this topic to dynamic CRM implementation, and we'll also redirect this one to the main menu. The main menu should be down. This is the main menu, and you could put your notes. At this point, I'll just directly put end of conversation. But to end conversation, sometimes you might just need to give them some message to let them know you're ending the conversation at that point. So I'll click on save. Then we are done with the dynamic CRM implementations end. So I'll quickly also do the support. But before we do that, okay, let me do the support. Then we can then go and edit our escalation topic. So let's just go back to our topics, and I'll go to dynamic support. So what are the things we have for dynamic support? Let me bring back our scripts. So what we have here is we have for inquiries, press 1, for solution support, press 2, for general support, press 3. So we just have 3 for the CRM support end. So we are going to be doing that quickly. I'll just put in this and do an ask question. And as usual, I'm going to put on the assign DTMF, which will be to assign the keys. Then also I'm going to copy the question here and put that as a message, right? I'll also be leaving out the return menu because we're using that at the end, right? Click on this, then I'll go down and begin to input the three menus we selected. So we said for inquiries. So I'm just going to pick for inquiries here. So I'm going to paste this, and for inquiries, we're picking one, right? Then I'm going to select this. The next is for solution support. We're going to be selecting two, right? Then the last is for general support. So for general support, we're selecting three. So I'm just going to pick this and put on this and say for general support, we are selecting three, right? So we are good to go. For this, we can call this our CRM support variable, but we need it to be global. We want to carry it between sections. So I'll just call this variable CRM support, right? Then I click hit on save. Then voila. One error. Let's see what the error might be. Okay, we didn't select if we're taking it external or not. So I also want to carry it between sessions. Now just select this. This is going to ICF. So let's just leave the timer same. So we are done creating that. So I'll just redirect each and every selection that is made there. So we're having this save. All right, so we now have our IVR done. So just a recap on what we have configured now, right? So if you go down to our topics, so what we did is we did the topic from our main menu that will transfer you to English. From English, based on your selection, you to transfer it to dynamic CRM or dynamic CRM support. And from any of these, we are now moving you to you have been escalated. And on the escalation button, you could see that what we did is change our message to transferring you to representative, and also we then add the transfer conversation. So when you click on this as usual and you go down to topics, you see the transfer conversation, which is what we did. So that's basically a run through of basically all the configurations we have done. So now we are now going to go back to our CRM environment where we'll be adding what we've configured to CRM. So let's quickly get that running. So I'll go back here, right? And we have this already running. So what we'll be doing is we'll be using a demo voice call workstream. Like I said, you could watch my video on creating work streams and queues to see how work streams and queues are being configured. So I'm going to click in on this. I'll just make some edits on these ones that came in. We don't need these assignments and all that. So I'm going to delete all of them. So just see more. And what I'll do, I'll select this and delete, right? So I want to delete all these row cells that have been created. I'm going to select this also and delete also. We don't need them. So I'll proceed back to our work streams. Sorry, I didn't want to go this back. So our fallback is going to be our voice demo queue. So our decision row, we are going to have our own decision row, right? I'm going to delete all this. No, I want to delete this. Not edit, delete. So also this one, I'm going to select it and delete it. I'm going to select this and delete it. I'm going to select this rule set and delete it. So good. So now we'll go back to our work stream and our decision rule sets. We're going to set them. But first of all, what we need to do is we need to delete the IVR that is connected here, right? So then add the one we just created, our bot we just created. So our bot is not here, so we'll be able to add that if we go, we publish our bot. That's when we can be able to do that. But before we do that, you go back to your bot, right? Go to settings, and for the authentication, remove the authentication. So just go to securities. Then you see authentication. You just click on authentication here and say there's no authentication on your bot, and you click on save. Then you can do this. Yep. So once you do that and publish, you can now add your bot to the Dynamics CRM. So I can go back to my bots, click on this, go back to Amaguchi IVR, then I'll publish this. So hit on publish. So it's publishing. While doing that, I can just go back here, then go to AI agent under customer support, click on this. Then you can see the ad here. I could click on add. Then you see connect existing AI. I click on this. Then go next. So the one we want to connect is Amaguchi. Amaguchi is not yet here. Okay, I think still publishing. Let's see what is, when it's done publishing, we'll be able to do that. So our publish is now successful. So let's go back to environment and refresh and see if it's now appearing. Yes, so we can now see our Amaguchi IVR, right? So we're going to tie it to this environment. So click on this and click on connect. So I'm connecting that IVR with this. So once it's connected, I go back to my work stream and I go back to the demo work streams we're doing. Then I click on the bots agent, AI agent area. I click on this, but that's not reflected here. Just a minute, let me refresh so that it's populate. So let's wait. So after refreshing, now we have our IVR bot here. So I'll click on this and I'll click on connect. So now, great, our bot is now stationed on our IVR. Sorry, our IVR is now stationed on our workstream, and users will be assigned when call comes in. But we want to get in the context in which will be coming in from the bot. So the selections of the users. So how we're going to get that? We're going to get that through context variables. So we have different context variables here. We don't need most of this one, so I could just delete most of them. So I'll delete conversation reason that was supposed to come from the previous bot that we have. So let me just delete all this. We don't need them. So I'll delete all this that came with the demo we had previously. So I'll delete all this, then also this one, click on this. So now I'm going to be adding, so the things you can collect, we can say variable English choice. So let's say we want to select the choice. Maybe you are, so all this will be text. That's why we must go back to convert them to text, right? Well, we're using the same name that we have here. So we have this. We want to also collect the, so let's see the different things that we have in our bot. So from main menu, we are collecting the language. So that's what's, so we've collected English language choice. So what's the person's choice? So what's the person's language choice also? So let's say you might need to use that, but we might not necessarily. I'll show you how to. So click on create. Then the next thing we might need, right, from this might be, so from the main menu, we proceed down to the English language choice. We've created a variable to hold the English language choice. And the next is the Dynamics CRM implementation choice. So we'll pick this as the CRM implementation choice. So maybe we could just call this, let's say, business variable. Maybe we could call this business. Let me call it CRM implement choice, right? Something like this. We would also call this as type text. So this the CRM implement. Then the other one is support. So we could also call this variable CRM support choice, something like this. All these are going to be text. So when we are done this way, we now need to go back to our IVR and ensure that the selections that come in for all these are converted to text, and we pass it into the same name with this. So let's go back to our IVR. So we'll go back to each of the points where these are being passed to impute them. So let's start with the language choice. So I'm going to copy this, and so that we use the same name. Then I'll go back to our bots, then go to I think we start from main menu, right? That's where we collect the language choice. So when I click on this, this is where we collect the language choice. So I'm just going to click on this and say I'm going to set the variable. And which variable are we going to set? I'm going to be creating a new variable, right? And this variable, I'm going to call it just this it must be the same name what you have on CRM end, and you make it global. Make it global and make it transfer to external sources, as the case may be. Then we'll click on save here. Okay, let's see why it's giving us some error. Okay, we've not set our value, so I'm going to click on this. Let me cancel this. So let me just double confirm this quickly. Okay, so for the set timer for this one, like I said earlier on, let's just put it to 10,000. Now for this, okay, we need to set a variable. Let me just cancel this and quickly we'll set. So what we're doing is we're trying to convert this to text. So what we'll do is we're going to give in a formula, and what we are doing here is text, right? Text. And what we want to convert to text is a variable, and the variable we want to convert to text is variable. Let me just go back to the formula and do text, right? This, then I'll start calling it. So it's global. That's the variable I want to call dots. What is this one? Is language choice. So this is a value I want to convert, and I'm going to click on this and click on insert. That's basically it. So we have now converted this to text, and we've stored it here, which will now be passed to CRM. So for this also, I'm going to just set the timer to wait for 10,000 so that um, records are passed in. Then voila, we're safe. So we're going to do this across for all other variables we are sending to CRM so that when they get to the work stream, we can now use them as the conditions to route them between different queues and department as the case may be. So I'll just click on save this, and I think that will basically be all for us for main menu. So then we go back to our work stream. The next one we want to pick is the English language choice. So I'll just copy this. Copying this, we go back to our agent. So now we want to go to English language choice. And the choice for English language, we want to select this now and go back to variable management and set variable. So the variable we want to set is we want to create a new variable as we did previously. So we create a new variable, and when we create this new variable, the name of the new variable, as I said earlier on, should be the same name with what we created in CRM. So what I copied, this was copied from CRM. I want to also make this global. Sorry, I'll go back here and I'll make this global. I'll transfer this across to, and I'll make this 10,000. And 1, 2, 3. Then click on save. No, it won't save because we need to, as usual, change this. This is English variable English choice. Why here is variable English language business unit. So we need to convert this to a text. So I'll click on this and go to formula. Then come change it to text. Click on this. Sorry, click on this and it's global. Dot English language business unit. This one. Then we close this and voila, good. We're done here. So as usual, we're gonna save, then move down to the next one, which is CRM support choice. This is the name we're giving it. Then we come here. Unable to get content. So let's see. Someone. This. Let's discard and see where it stopped. Oh, what we did for English language choice is gone. So let's quickly do that again. English language choice. So I'm gonna come back here and do this. So I'm gonna set variable. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create variable. And we're gonna call it this and click on this. So on 10,000 as the case may be. Then I'll just click on cancel here. And this is English language choice. So what we'll do is set our formula and do text and do global dot English language business unit. Close this, insert and save. So let's have this saved. Are we having this? Okay. Let's create a draft so that we can proceed then. Okay, let me just refresh. So based on the refresh, I can see that our we're still currently at the variable language choice. Okay, let's now go back to English language choice and see how that looks like. If it captured what we actually selected. No, it didn't. So how about we just quickly create this. So I select this. Then let me see if we already have. No, it's not here yet. So I'll just create a new one. Then I'm also going to rename this. Rename this. So it has renamed that. And let me just convert this to text quickly so that we can global dot English language business unit, insert this, and let me save. Okay, so that went through. So now let's also quickly then edit the transfer for this choice we made. Right, we want it to be a global topic one, and also we want it to go between sessions. And also while it's going between sessions, we want to transfer to external source to set the value. We want this to them selected. Then the time wait should be 10,000 milliseconds, right? So with this, I think we are done with English choice. And we could save this and we will be done with that. And the next one we need to do is for implementation. So I'll just copy implementation, come back here, go to topics, go to CRM implementation, then come down here to after the selection has been made, let's just call this and do set variable. And for this one, we're also going to create a new variable. Click on create a new variable. And when you click on create a new variable, we need to enter the variable. I think this should be coming out soon. Okay, it has created a new variable. But we just click on it and paste exactly the same variable name used in CRM so that it assigns it to directly when it gets to CRM. So what we can now do is we can use a formula here and say text, and for text we're using a global variable up dot CRM imp choice, close this and insert. And for this one also I need to confirm that okay, we need to make it global and we need to allow between sessions and also allow external and convert it to a weight of 10,000. So we're done with the one for CRM implementation. Then we just go back and do the last one. It's actually been a long one. So we're going to go here and go to topics, then go to CRM support. And based on CRM support, we can now add that variable and do set a variable value, come down here, then do create new variable this way, click on this one and change the name exact match with what we have in CRM. Also, then come back here and okay. So I'll just click on this and click on formula and say text, then global dot CRM supports this one, right? We made this global, okay. CRM support, and I click on this, and when you click on this one, I want to make it global. I want to also transfer this also, and call this 10,000, right? Then you can click on this. So with that, we've come to the whole end of our configuration for the IVR end. Then the last thing you just need to do is, so based on the selection that comes in, you now need to route these to the different departments, right? That we need to do that. And what you need to do is your routing rule set, your decision rule set. So click on this. Then I can come here and click on create rule, right? So let's say I want to route this to Amaguchi implementation sales team. So let's say I'll route to Amaguchi implementation sales, right? Something like this. So what I'll just need to do is to add the conditions of what needs to be done, right? From what has been sent. So what I'll be picking is a context item value. So which context do I want to pick? So I want to pick the implementation. So if this implementation choice, right, is equal to, now I'll now go back to my IVR. So let's say this is for implementation. Let's say the returns that came out from here is this. So just copy exactly the same thing and come here and say if this equals to this, right? So you want to take it to a queue. Let's say I want to take it to let me create a queue for them. So let me just cancel this and go to queues and come to manage and come to new queue. Then call this, let me just call this Amaguchi implementation. So anything Amaguchi implementation, persons here will collect it, Amaguchi implementation. So you could even have yours broken down into different granular level. So I'll just create this queue, Amaguchi implementation, and I'm going to create another one too for Amaguchi CRM support, so that anything that comes with those kind of classification will come to them. And let me add myself as a user so that I will receive the call when it comes here. So I'll just click this, and the assignment method I want, let me use the round robin and click on save and close, right? And the next thing is advanced queues. Let me create for Amaguchi CRM support. Amaguchi CRM support, right? Then click on voice, click on 1011, click on create. Then click on add user, and I'm adding myself. So because I don't have much users to do that now. So I'm now going to go to this and also select round robin. So you can still see my videos on queues creations to get more details about all this. So I'll just go back to the work stream, right? and go back to my voice. Then from your voice, go to the rule sets. So when I click on rule sets, create new rule sets. So I call this one route to Amaguchi sales, and I said add related entity. And the related entity, what we want to pick is the context variable. And from the list of context variable we have, we want to check if the user selected sales, dynamic sales. And if it does that, we want to route it to Amaguchi implementation, and that will create. So that's basically how you'll be creating all the configurations to route to different departments for this your voice, right? So the next, I could add more. So I could create another rule set. I could call this route to Amaguchi, let's say customer service, right? So something like this. I could also do the same thing. Come here. No, my bad. Sorry. I'll delete this. So what we're adding is add related entity, and related entity we want to add is context variable, and the context variable, the choice for Amaguchi the person selected is for Dynamics customer service. So I select this. Still yet, I want that to go to anybody in Amaguchi implementation, and the person should pick it. So that's basically how you do your configurations and the intelligent routing on where what call should go to based on the selection from the IVR. So let's say we want to now move calls to CRM support. So I could do this and say route to Amaguchi CRM support, something like this. And I can also do this context variable again, add related entity, click on this, go to context variable, click on this, and go to CRM support equals to, go back, go to your topics, just click on leave here, then come to CRM support. So you could have, if you have language already in place, you could have those as the different conditions you set in your context variable. And if all those conditions are met, then it should route to that different specific team. But for time's sake, I'll just use just only one of these. So if it's inquiries, or I could say if any of this, right? I could use an or here. I could say if any of this is, no, delete. So add a row. So the same thing, supports, and add a row. The same thing here, supports. And the other ones we have if it's this or general support, right? Any of these that are selected for the Amaguchi CRM support, then by default it should route it to Amaguchi CRM. So I could just click on this. So that's how you could do your complexity for your routing. And hula, we are done with our demo. So we're going to be testing this and see how the routing also goes. So let me just go to my contact center end so that I could await picking the call. So let me spin. So as I'm spinning up the contact center workspace, so I'll just click on this. So when this pops up, we are now going to make a call to the phone number. So let me just duplicate this. So this is where we're going to pick the phone number. But I'll come here and come to the work stream so that we can pick the number that is being that is being used for that work stream, so that we could call and hear the IVR kick in. We'll make our selections, then we proceed and pick the call. So this is a work stream. So this is the phone number I'm going to be calling. So this is the number I will be calling here right now. So let me just call that number and pick a call up. All right, so let me make the call right now. So I'm making the call, and I'll put the phone by the mic so that we could hear the IVR kicking in. I'm dialing that number.
Thank you for your call. Our virtual agent and human agent can help with your questions about our stores or product issues. Stay tuned to talk to our Copilot. Welcome to Amiga. To be serviced in, you can press 1 or say English, and press 2 or say French. For dynamic CRM implementation, press 1. For dynamic CRM support, for dynamic sales, press 1. For dynamics marketing, press transferring you to a representative.
So it's now transferring us to a representative based on our selection. So let me just come here to the contact center. You can see the call coming in now. So I can pick this, and that's how the IVR works, and the information is now sent down. So I'll just cut this. So that's basically the whole end to end of how you set up your IVR. Your IVR is played at the point where the customer is calling your contact center phone number, and your contact center agents are now positioned to receive it based on the same different routings options you're giving on your IVR. So thank you very much for staying through to the end. I know this is actually a long one. Do well to subscribe, right, so that the subsequent videos will be having you get notifications on them. So thank you once more, and see you in our next video.